The Sandbox. This is a channeled message from Source through one of my inner guides. It is chapter 31 from my book, Awakening Humanity. In the spirit of our reality resembling a play, it is written in play format. I hope you enjoy it. Here is The Sandbox. Cast of characters: the Holy Trinity, God, Father Creator, Child, Son, which is all of humanity, Narrator, the Holy Spirit. Narrator. In the beginning there was God, and God created a child to share in union with him so that he could experience relationship with himself as his own love. One day, this creation of God, his only child, had an insane idea. She wanted to know what life would be like if she were the maker of her own world, separate and apart from God. And God, being a good father and the giver of unconditional love and free will, conceded to this wish, though God warned the child that she would suffer from this choice. However, nothing could teach the child this, for suffering cannot be taught to one who knows not what it is and has never experienced it. And so, in ignorance and foolish desire, the child proceeded to make a world unlike heaven. Child: Father, I would like to make a new home and would like to live there instead of heaven. I make this choice only because I would like to try to make something on my own, using only my will, not in union with your will. I would like to try being my own creator. God: My dear child, if you do this, you will have to forget me, for you cannot have both worlds. You cannot live in two places at once and have awareness of both. You make a grave error in doing this. You are choosing to separate from me, and this choice will cause you unwanted suffering. However, I know you will not understand this unless you experience it for yourself, and so you may use our great power to make that which I am not. You may separate from your union with me in order to know what it is to be what we are not. Know this, though, you cannot truly separate from me, for it is impossible. I am that which gives you life, and without me, you would cease to exist. Therefore, this will merely be an imagined separation, and you may return to me at any time of your own choosing. No real harm can or will be done by your choice to separate. There has and only ever will be one choice: union with me, God, your Father in Spirit, giver of your life and true identity. Narrator. And because she was just a child, she was given a sandbox to play in, and all she could build was an impermanent sandcastle, a simple plaything that would never last for all eternity. But she cared not about this, for her memory, understanding, and experience of eternity had been blotted from her mind in order that she be able to make the sandcastle to begin with. For as God had said, she could not have both worlds. Such is the sacrifice for choosing to experience separation from God, the only alternate experience to union in Him. Child: Wonderful! I have made a sandcastle. This is my new home, and I willingly choose to forget all that I am and where my true home in heaven is so that I can have this experience here. I know I must do this in order for my experience here in the sandbox to be real enough to be believed. For if I do not believe in what I have made, then I have made nothing. Narrator. What the child did not understand was that she had indeed made a world of nothing. It would not last because it was not eternal. This was the best she could do on her own, for when one tries to make a world opposite to what God wills, one cannot make anything eternal. For God only wills what is eternal. On her own, she could only make that which would one day end in time. For God is timeless, and God can create only what is not bound by time. And so, in this moment, time came into existence as the alternate experience to God's timeless eternity. Child. And now I would like to live here in my sand castle. I cannot do this from a state of union with God, and so I must separate my identity into parts. I will divide my one self into bodies that appear separate from each other in order to live in this world of separation. Otherwise, I will not believe in my own self-made world. I must not have any memory whatsoever of my union with God, lest I give up my own endeavors here and return home. I am determined to do this by myself. Narrator. And so was born the idea of the ego and separate bodies in which it could live. But upon doing this, the child soon became beset by a great many problems. This is because she made a choice in opposition to what was the truth. The truth is, God is one in peace, and she had no other choice but to choose the opposite of God's peace, which is separation in conflict. And thus a world of conflict arose as the only possible alternative. Child. Father, I have a problem. God. Yes, my dear child, I hear your prayer. What is it you need help with? Child. So many things threaten to wipe away my home. Will you please do something to stop such disasters? Everything here is unsafe and unstable in the sandbox. I feel fear at every turn. Nothing in this sandbox seems to last. God. My dear child, this is the nature of the world you made, and you chose this conflict as the world in opposition to my peace. Therefore, there is only one solution to your conflict. Return to my peace. In order to have my peace, you must give up your beliefs in your false reality and return your belief to me. I am your creator. You did not create yourself and cannot create anything real without me. Come home, dear child, and forget this foolish place, this sandbox. I call you from within to remember me. Child. I cannot hear you, Father, nor do I remember you or what heaven is like, and therefore cannot believe in any of it wholeheartedly. There is nothing here to compare with you or heaven, and so I doubt that any of it even exists. My attention will remain here on this world of conflict as a distraction from my remembering you, lest all that I have worked so hard for be taken away. I do not want to give any of it up. I am determined to find joy here in this sandbox, no matter what the cost. I will sacrifice nothing I have made. God. The price you are paying is steep, dear child. The sandbox is costing you your peace and happiness. In keeping it, you sacrifice everything. But nevertheless, I will continue to unceasingly call to you until you are satisfied this world cannot bring you any measure of true satisfaction, and you turn, at last, within to hear my voice and remember me. Narrator. And so the child carried on with her life, and as each problem seemed to be solved or faded away, another always arose to take its place, just as sand unceasingly moves, changes, and blows in the wind. She experienced a relentless parade of difficulties that made little or no sense to her. Because of this, at times, she even felt punished by God, who, of course, loved her unconditionally and understood her self-inflicted predicament and would never do such an unthinkable thing to his child for simply making a mistake. Yet neither would God take away what she had made, for God respected his child's wish to keep the sandbox. Child: Father, though you seem to not hear my prayers, I have another problem. I would like certain people to love me in certain ways. I want a partner and children and good parents. I want everyone to love me in the manner of my choosing. Yet no one ever seems to do what I want. They hurt me at every turn and cause me endless suffering. I seek love but cannot find it. Please help me find love. But I want love in the manner of my choosing. God: My dear child, you have chosen to forget that love makes no special arrangements. Love is. True love is uncompromisingly equal in its giving. You cannot demand that it do only your bidding because it is equally given to all. You will forever be disappointed by such special relationships, as your heart breaks each time your demands of others are not met. For each of you want conflicting things. In order to have peace in your relationships, you must give up your false beliefs in what these relationships must be, and return your belief to my one love that unites you all. You are still my one child, though you see yourself as separated. All such needy, fear-based, ego-love relationships simply reflect your lack of love for your one self. Love makes no demands. You see all others as separate from you and refuse to acknowledge my love that unifies you together. And so you suffer from the sight of such separation. While you ask for such special relationships to be real, you ask for suffering. And though it breaks my heart, you will receive what you have asked for. Such is the law of giving and receiving, the law of love. Narrator: And the child did not hear or understand such a response, and so she carried on with all her messy relationships, trying to piece them together and make them fit an ego ideal that would never work, because God's love does not give special favor. Special relationships will always bring pain, but if given to God to be made whole, they flourish under his peace, acceptance, and mercy. For the ego, it is impossible to love as God loves, but if one learns to give such relationships to God to love through them, they will be transformed. To receive love, it cannot be chased, for this means you see it as something outside yourself to be sought after, and you will always chase it away. Love must be welcomed from within with peace and not taken by a sword, for love makes no demands. It is already part of your one self, and so when you truly give love, you will truly receive it, for such is God's law of giving and receiving. Child: Father, you still seem to not be listening to me, but I want another thing. I would like a nice home and a good income to live a comfortable life. I do not want to live in poverty or have to go without those things I think I need in order to be happy in this world. I pray to you to give them to me. If you loved me, you would answer these prayers. God: My dear child, there is nothing in your sandbox world worthy of who you are. Giving such things is to give you nothing, for it is a make-believe world you invented to maintain your separation from me. You ask me to give you nothing, and though it breaks my heart, it shall be yours. However, understand that you will not be satisfied with any of it. Having or not having nothing is still nothing. Narrator: The child had yet to understand that a world built upon sand will not last, and though you can heap more sand upon sand, it is still but sand. Having more of it may satisfy for a short while, but it will still wash away. Child: Father, I pray to you for yet another thing, though I cannot see or feel you anywhere. I want to be well liked and highly respected. I want a place of power in this world. I want to be the best and have the most. I want awards, recognition, and status. Let me be the victor of all I choose to attempt and accomplish in this world. Let me fail at nothing here. I want to be the greatest among people. If you loved me, you would answer this prayer. God, my dear child, you have built a kingdom out of sand. It is foolish to come to such a place and believe it is real. Would you truly want to be crowned King of the Fools? I tell you this, in a world of fools, it is best to be the least. Therefore, seek instead to be the least in the world of fools, and you will be counted amongst the greatest in heaven. Seek my kingdom instead, and you will find the majestic grandeur that you so desire, and know to be your true world, your true inheritance. Only my kingdom is worthy of my one holy child. Do not seek to be a king of fools, lest you achieve it. Narrator. Power, fame, and glory are the temptation of the ages, and few escape its delicious pull into darkness. To see others succeed while one feels like a failure in comparison is the comparison of the ego to other egos. In God's kingdom there is no comparison, for love is equally given to all. No one is less, and no one is greater than another. And so all is given to all, and all are satisfied in the state of joy and gratitude. To desire to be more is merely to find less, for you will align with the mindset of the ego's idea of separation, and not know your true glory and power in union with all. Therefore, do not seek to become king of the fools, but rather celebrate those times you are the least fool among fools. In fact, your apparent failures are often your greatest successes. Those who seek to be least in this world will find themselves first in spirit, when they align themselves with God's will, who is first cause. In him there is no order but one, and all are first within him. Child. Father, nothing seems to ever go right, and if it does not last for long. And now my body ages and fails me, as well as those I love. I want our bodies to last, even though I know the body is just like everything else here in my sandbox world. I know it will one day fail, each of us entirely, and die. And even though I understand this, I still pray to you until the end that it lives on. Please answer this one last request. Do not let death or sickness come. The pain of the loss of the body is just too great to bear. God, my beloved child, I would not have you suffer so. This is not my will for you. I created you as eternal, and you cannot truly die. All suffering is but at your own hand, only because you have chosen your own will and your own way alone. You've chosen to believe you are this body. Come, take my hand, and I will lead your mind away from this darkness and back into my kingdom, where all the heavenly hosts will rejoice at your glad return. Nothing has happened to your place here with me. I have kept your true self safe and whole and resting in my peace this entire time. You have only imagined that you left me. Be healed of all guilt and fear over having gone so far away. You have made a journey without distance, for you cannot truly leave me and my love, or you would cease to be. I am that which sustains you for all eternity, and so all was forgiven even before you made the choice to forget my love. Awaken, dear child, and hear my call. Come home. You are not a frail, weak body. You are love's grand, eternal creation. This is the truth for each and every one of you. No one has been forsaken, left behind, or is ever truly gone. All are united with all for all eternity. Be at peace and know this to be true, despite what happens to your bodies. Narrator. And at last, something within the child began to stir. An echo of a voice she recognized was dimly heard. She had tried lifetime after lifetime to find happiness in an endless variety of ways and found no lasting joy. Yet she could faintly remember a joy that surpassed all others. This is what she so desperately sought. All have been called by something deep inside that whispers of a promise made by God that they would one day return to Him, united once again. This whisper took hold within her, and she began to turn more and more to listening to this voice within, instead of seeking outside herself for peace. For life in the sandbox was indeed the opposite of peace. And in order to complete her transition from life in the sandbox back into the light of God's love, she must next learn how to let go of everything the sandbox means to her. For many, this transition is a painful process that appears to be filled with sacrifice and loss. But this need not be if the process is properly understood from the outset. In fact, it is undertaken with great joy by the heart that is prepared to let the world go. Know that all trials are but lessons one has failed in the past, presented once again, so that a better choice can be made to escape all pain forever by forgiving the world they made. Child. I have tried everything, Father, and though I crave your peace and love, I search and do not find it. What am I doing wrong? Where is your peace? I am tired of this sandbox. I am unhappy and at the bottom of the lowest of all places in my heart. What must I do? What do you want from me that I may be happy? I am willing to listen now and do exactly as you ask. God, up until now, you have played a child's game in a false world. Then, when this world did not work out the way you had planned, you asked me to intervene and move the false reality around to suit your liking. You have asked me to fix your world, but have repeatedly rejected my answer. This is because my answer has not been one to your ego's liking. My answer is thus: it is now time to set aside such childish games and grow into adulthood. I ask only one thing: that you forget this place, this sandbox. Forget your identity in it and the identities of everyone there with you. Forget what you think the purpose of anything is, for you do not know. You have forgotten me and believed in the sandbox instead. Forget the sandbox world now and remember me. Forget all you ever thought you knew about the world around you, and let my voice write the truth upon this clean altar in your heart. For then you will have at last made room for your forgotten memories of me, and you will also remember your true home in heaven. Simply remember, you know nothing as it exists in truth, and the truth will be revealed to you. Child. I am ready to do as you ask, Father, but I know not how to do this. Such terrible thoughts about the world clutter my mind at all times, and it seems impossible to be rid of them. This sandbox and all its problems seem to command my attention and drag me down. This place seems so real. Please tell me how to clean my inner altar of all the darkness. I no longer want any of it. Father, I am so desperate. I'm willing to try something new. I ask that only your will be done and not my own. What is your will, Father? I would do it now, for I am lying in a heap of my own misery and troubles and know not what else to do. And so I would reach out to you, offering you my service instead of asking you to serve me. In the past, I only asked for your help in the form of prayers. Now I am truly willing to try something different. I would like to give instead of take. Now I want to help you. I want to give something to you instead of asking something from you. I would learn that to give is to receive, and so I give to the highest source, God Himself. So I say again, let your will be done and not my own, and let me serve you in what you will. What is your will, Father? Narrator. And at last, with this plea, the child had finally prayed a real prayer, one that God could truly answer. She had stopped telling God what to do. Instead, she was ready to let go of all she ever knew about everything she had ever known, and desired that it be replaced with God's will. All prayers before this had simply been her ego's way of nicely telling God what to do, mere petitions asking for particular outcomes to a myriad of problems, needs, and wants. When one prays in such a way, one is choosing to lead instead of follow. Such prayers are always answered, but the recipient will feel unheard and abandoned because they chose to continue on alone, under the guise of prayer, ever asking God to do as they command. The only way to be released from this cycle of desperate needs and wants is to give over all needs and wants to God by ceasing to tell Him what to do and how to do it. The prayer that triumphs over all needs and wants is this: Father, let your will be done and not my own, for I do not know who I am, what I should be doing, or what the world is in truth. Because you know the truth of all things, I ask that you teach me your will and how to love my brethren even as you love them. I am not here to ask and to take. I am here only to give and serve, you who sent me, and to be truly helpful in you in what you will. Amen. And with these words, one will effectively resign as one's own leader and step back and let God lead the way. Child. Father, I feel an inner shift. You have lifted my burden of solving all my problems on my own, and you have solved them all for me by making them obsolete. They do not exist. This world is not real, and I now know it with my waking mind, and a mind at wake knows of its truth in your unity and with all creation. I am awakened to my one self, united with my Creator and at one with every aspect of your creation. I will cease to try to harm others with my thoughts, words, and actions, because I now fully understand they are a part of me, and neither will I feel fear from them, for again, you are within them, and we are one. Together, we are limitless in our power and our peace, and with these realizations, I carry your peace into the world with me as a beacon of strength and light, healing all those you send me, healing the world. I am at peace as I rest in your deep, abiding peace. My heart is still in the grandeur of your eternal, joyful love. There is now nothing in this sandbox that can cause me fear, suffering, or pain. My joy is absolute, unchanging, and unshakable as yours, for I now share your vision of light. God. And now, dear child, with your relinquishment of your own will and joining with my will for your peace, the conflicts of the sandbox world will fall away from your life and be replaced with my peace. And so, this is the beginning of your experience of my heaven on earth as you continue to live an extraordinary life, extending my grace, love, and peace to the world and all you encounter on your journey. The obstacles to your peace have been lifted, and if you seem to falter on your way as you finish your time in this world, those problems too will be lifted the instant you remember to call upon my peace. Be blessed and made whole as you continue living your joyful life through my peace, and abiding joy will be your only experience. And when the time comes for you to truly leave your sandbox experience behind you forever, you will leave your body by your own choice, not by waiting for your body to die, but rather by gently setting it aside because its usefulness is done. Yes, child, you will transcend even death and resurrect to new life, even as Christ once demonstrated how to transcend from your sandbox world. Narrator. And from that day forth, the child never feared the sandbox world again, for she knew the truth of its existence, or lack thereof. It was not her true home, nor anyone else's. If anyone decided to throw sand and cause misery and conflict, she knew she had but two choices. She could either throw sand back and cause further misery for herself and others, or decide to leave the sandbox altogether. She chose to leave. She left the sandbox by withdrawing her belief in it. Each time it tried to draw her back with its realness, she simply reminded herself it was only a child's game, and sometimes children throw sand at one another in order to get what they want. Nothing could truly harm her divinity in God the Father. She fully understood there was no such thing as good or bad people in the sandbox, only those who were aware of their unity and God's love, and those who were not. Knowing this truth, the child rested in the peace of extending only God's love to the world. Soon all trials fell away, her life yielding to only what was peaceful and good, for all error in thinking will always yield to love if it is brought to love and not willingly hidden from it. Only the good, the beautiful, and the true will come into the life of one who heals everything by extending God's love and light to all that is. Such is the law of giving and receiving. To have, one must give all love to all, and nothing but love and happiness will be returned. And so, God's will was done on earth. Forgiveness of the original error of separation was made complete. Peace and unity were restored to all minds joined in knowing they were one mind, one voice, and one name, created together by one love. And the vision of the sandbox world was gently and peacefully washed away from the mind of the child and replaced with the real world of heaven. Again, this miracle can truly be achieved by simply never forgetting how to reignite the truth in your mind through words such as these. Father, let your will be done and not my own, for I do not know who I am or who or what anything in this world truly is. Therefore, I cannot judge it. Let me know your will instead, that I may carry it out with you, the one who knows the truth of all things. I am here only to be truly helpful to you who sent me. Let me learn to give and to bless, knowing that what I give I shall also receive. Therefore, let me join your will in loving my brethren, even as you do, as part of my one self, and then shall the world be forgiven, and all will be healed. Amen. Thus the child learned to follow instead of lead, and truly demonstrated the power of the law of love, that giving and receiving are one in truth. You will receive as you have given, and so choose to give maximally. Give all your love to God and all those he sends to you, your beloved brethren, one with you in him. In doing this, you are serving God through fulfilling his will for you to serve and love everyone, even as he does. As A Course in Miracles states, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Therefore, do not fear the sandbox. Nothing in it is real. The end. This story is my own and ours together. I lovingly walk the remainder of this journey with you beside me as all of humanity awakens. For I cannot go alone. We are one love. Now we go together, you and I. We willingly leave the sandbox behind us forever. Soon we will know only the joy of God's love for all eternity, as He wills. I love you unconditionally. Beth Gear.